Well, good morning. Welcome to the Salt Lake Center for Spiritual Living, and a very happy Halloween. This is not our religious garb that we typically wear. We're celebrating this bodacious holiday. It's so great to see everybody dressed up. I just commend your bold, brave, bodacious, beautiful beauty. It's such a wonderful time of year, and people get really silly. And I hope you stick around after the service today. We have a lot of fun and games, and some treats, and some tricks, I hear. So please celebrate with us. We're closing out the month of October, and our theme this month is Further Together, going further together. We've got a wonderful speaker today. So great to welcome him back, Rabbi Bachman. And they're also sharing special music today as Desert Wind, Andalyn and Alan Bachman providing music today, and our dear friend Raj. So let's start by singing together, right along with our theme, going further together. Together we can change the world.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I believe it's not too late. Together we can change the world. Lay the puzzle pieces out, find out what it's all about. Together we can change the world. I could start this by myself, but I'm asking for your help. Together we can change the world. Sailing past where it's been charted, roll your sleeves up, let's get started. Together we can change the world. Together we can change the world. With our hands and with our hearts, we can dare to make a start. Together we can change the world. What if we spoke with one voice, knowing that we have a choice? Together we can change the world. I could start this by myself, but I'm asking for your help. Together we can change the world. Sailing past where it's been charted, roll your sleeves up, let's get started. Together we can change the world. Together we can change the world. Change your mind and change your life. Set aside the fear and strife. Together we can change the world. When we open up our eyes, then we start to realize. Together we can change the world. I could start this by myself, but I'm asking for your help. Together we can change the world. Sailing past where it's been charted, roll your sleeves up, let's get started. Together we can change the world. Together we can change the world. Together we can change the world. Together we can change the world.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Halloween. Happy Sunday morning, and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living in Salt Lake City, Utah. Now, if you're here for the first time, the band always looks like this. It's all of you I'm excited about. Oh my God, we asked you to come to service dressed up, and so many of you did. Look at this. Oh my God, it's just beautiful. I can't wait to see this dress. And we're going to have a great time this afternoon with more news about that in a bit. So my name is Robert Ekman, and I am your service host this morning. And whether you're joining us here in person or on our virtual love stream, we are so grateful that you're here and know that something will happen for you this morning that will change your world. Our practitioner holding high watch this morning is Farrell Zeman. And Farrell will be in prayer throughout the service for us, knowing the best and highest good is unfolding for us as we share this sacred time together. Our prayer practitioner this morning is Selena Baugh. This center is a spiritual community that teaches a philosophy of daily living based upon spiritual principles and practices that are common throughout religions. We honor all pathways by which people seek to connect and to know the divine. And we work on our individual consciousness so that we can all help make the world a better place. I just saw a real dog, but I didn't know if it was one of you dressed up. Just checking. I'd like to welcome anyone that is brave enough to be here with us this morning for the first time. Are there any first-timers with us today? Struggling to see. Are there? Yay! Oh, I see some glitter. Well, welcome. We're so glad that you're here, and we hope that
Don't
you
be
enjoy
afraid.
yourselves. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. From wherever you are, whether you're with us here in person or on our virtual love stream, I would like to invite you now to recommit yourself to our center's spiritual purpose by saying with me our purpose statement, which I don't have memorized, and I was hoping would come up on the screen any second.
We were hoping.
There we go. All right, everyone together, please. We are a thriving community where individually and together we embody and express our spiritual magnificence for the highest good of all. Thank you. For the latest information about what's happening at the center, you can visit our website at www.spirituallyfree.org. Thank you. No, everything. Oh, they printed on 2 pages. I've got a lot of announcements today, so hang on, everybody. On our homepage, you can submit a prayer request. You can see what's happening every Sunday. You can watch archives of what has happened. You can get to know us that are up here and doing this for you on Saturdays or Sundays, and so much more. Our theme this month is Going Further Together and Reaching Higher. And our guest speaker is the Rabbi Bachman, who will speak to us on the topic, I Will Meet You There. And our guest musicians are Desert Wind, featuring Reb Allen, and Andalin and Raj. By way of announcements, next Saturday and Sunday at the Karen Miller Conference Center in Sandy is Emergence 21. Emergence 21 is a 2-day gathering of enlightened spiritual teachers, inspiring live music, and a welcoming community of like-minded people like us. This event is created specifically for this time, for these people in this place in history, and for the challenges and opportunities that are unfolding in our world today. This has been created to support you in living a life of love, joy, and prosperity, help you discover what next steps are in your soul's journey. The Center for Spiritual Living Salt Lake has partnered with Emergence to support the event, and anyone who signs up using the code SLC, that's really hard, 20 will get a discount off registration for the entire 2-day event. We have a booth at the conference, and you are invited to help man it if you'd like, and you can sign up in the lobby or email us at office.assistant@spiritualfree.org. And again, this is taking place at the Karen Miller Conference Center, which is new to me. This is not the Southtown Expo Center. This is at 9750 South, 300 West, right off the interstate. And of course, more information can be found on the website. All right, everybody, the labyrinth. The labyrinth is practically here. If you aren't familiar, we decided to create a labyrinth. We've gotten permission from our landlords. We're doing it right out here on the other side of the wall and a driveway. The area is cleared. The one thing that we needed, we've got the equipment to do it, we've got instructions. The one thing we needed was the paint. And found out that the really popular traditional parking lot striping paint is unavailable due to supply line issues. But we're religious scientists, and we didn't let that stop us. So we asked the universe for some paint, and we got 2 5-gallon buckets of striping paint. Don't tell anybody. We could sell it online afterwards, I guess, for something. So we're ready to paint our labyrinth. And so what we've got is we've got a sign-up sheet in the lobby. We want to do this before the snow flies, so we're thinking that one of the next 3 Saturdays is the most logical time. As I say, we've got equipment, we've got what we need, but we need people. And it can be any number of people. There are different things that need to be done, and the painting of it, of course, the laying out of it. We've got a cool tape dispensing machine to lay out the lines. And so the sign-up sheet is for the next 3 Saturdays. It's not going to take 3 Saturdays, it will only take 1, but we are relying on the weather. So it might be this Saturday, it might be next Saturday, it might be the 21st. And the sign-up sheet out there is asking for your name and your contact info and which Saturdays you might be available. Then in the week upcoming, the date that we'll do it, we will let you know, and we are going to descend upon the parking lot and create a permanent 45-foot in diameter, 11-circuit labyrinth. Very exciting. Today is our Halloween party. Duh. And I encourage you all to stick around after service. We've got some food to eat and some setup to do, but there are some surprises. So the committee, the volunteer committee, is expected to be back here in this space for decoration and preparation. But we have sandwiches, and then at 1:30 we're going to begin with a costume contest, followed by a variety of contests for you to demonstrate your physical prowess and skill. And this includes tossing rings onto the top of a pumpkin, running a headless waiter relay race with a balloon on a platter, carving a pumpkin, and cornhole. We all love cornhole. So, and for any of them, whether you win or not does not matter. This is a friendly community, so you just participate, you get a ticket. You take that ticket and you can put it in any number of bowls that represent the different awards that are available, and then you may win one. Following all of this fun will be Beetlejuice, the movie. So I can't wait. All right, everybody, I think we are about there. Yes, we are. All right, our center is founded on and grounded in prayer. This helps us deal with whatever comes our way and creates a positive experience regardless of our situations. Our professional prayer practitioners are trained in the art and science of affirmative prayer and are ready to pray for you and with you. You can do this online by clicking on the link on our homepage. Send us a request through the internet. There's a prayer box in the lobby, and the practitioners are here today, and they're here to lift you up in prayer all week. So now, I invite you to settle in, best you can. Settle in and breathe deeply and allow the centering music to take us to that sacred place within while Selena leads us in prayer.
Good morning. I'm a little shorter. So our reading this morning is some excerpts from a poem by Rumi, and then a great article I found called Getting Past Impasse of Right or Wrong, written by Mel Schwartz. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. Ideas, language, even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense. This dichotomy of either or thinking would naturally lead us down the path to either being right or being wrong. Our identity becomes very wed with what we believe to be the truth. Our thoughts work overtime to protect this self-constructed image of our identity. Most people protect their egos by defending the need to be right. In so doing, thought mightily defends its territory. Rigid thought accompanies a fragile sense of self. The more tied we are to being right, the more rigid our beliefs and thoughts. So we begin to see thought defending its territory and doing battle with the possibility of being wrong. The paradox here is that vulnerability of thought, being comfortable with being wrong, is actually powerful and strong. Once we free ourselves from the need to be right, our thinking and our discourse open up. Not being tied to defending the need to be right opens up wonder, inquiry, and a quest for learning. It also provides an exceptional nutrient for our relationships. What I'm describing is not vulnerability as we ordinarily think of it, which is feeling at risk or insecure. If I don't need to be right and I'm not embarrassed to be wrong, I am in fact more powerful. I have nothing to fear by what others think, and my sense of self isn't tied to such a silly artifact. In other words, I am liberated by not having to be right. This actually fosters a more powerful self-esteem.
Why have we come to earth? Do you remember? Why have we taken birth? Do you remember? To love, serve, and remember. To love, serve, and remember. Why have we come to earth? Do you remember? Why have we taken birth? Why have we come to love, serve, and remember? To love, serve, and remember. To love, serve, and remember. To love, serve, and remember.
So in this moment, this perfect moment, I recognize that one presence and power that moves in and through all of life, expressing each and every moment without beginning and without end as absolute divine right action, love and compassion, wholeness, strength, and in recognition of that oneness, that wholeness, I know that each of us are part and parcel of that one. That we each embody all those aspects of the one. That when we consciously open our minds and our hearts, we have full access to all that we need this day and every day. So I invite you to join me this day in opening our minds and our hearts, moving forward with not the sense of rightness or wrongness, but just openness. Openness to new thoughts, new ideas, the people that we meet, the circumstances that we encounter, and we learn and we grow and we commune with each other. I'm grateful for this time together this morning. I'm grateful for this philosophy, for this wonderful music that underlies everything that we do this day, and for the words that will be spoken and the teaching that will be taught. So I just release this word. It's spoken, so therefore it's done. As together we say, and so it is.
So our philosophy surely supports the idea that as individuals we are imbued with the power, the love, the wisdom, all those wonderful characteristics of the divine, a part of us. So we're all that. And yet, why would we want to go through this life alone? Why not recognize that as a collective we can do more than we can as individuals? I had my wife dress me this morning. That probably seems obvious to most of you, but I can't do this myself. So, how grateful that we have others around us to support that beauty and wisdom and love and power that we are imbued with. And we can do the same. The song that we sing together, it's called We. I've been so excited to share this with you this month. So I look forward to you singing along. You've had 5 weeks of rehearsal, and I want you to sing. All right, please join us.
Dreams she'll be an actress. She wants to learn to sing and dance. A boy imagines he's a spaceman. They give no thought to circumstance. It is our nature to driven by a grander scheme beyond what is common in our mindscapes, toward the dreams that we have spawned. one thought, new life begins. We are undiscovered countries. Our coffers fail behind our eyes. Each endowed with love and wisdom. Our bounded souls to realize. Peace is fruit that can be tasted just beneath the coral's rind. Joy is a time not wasted on callous thoughts best left behind. We may live beside the ocean, across the desert we may roam, but we are children in a family, and this planet is our home. We desire to know our future, to know we're safe before we sleep. And we so want to be included, to know that love will never cease. We are risks that must be taken. We are how we've come this far. We'll always be connected, blended lights among the stars. Good job.
Thank you. Oh, I'm so excited to introduce our special music today. I've known Alan Bachman and Andelin for several years now. And this was before Alan Bachman became Rabbi Alan Bachman. They were always such an inspiration to me. I had this wonderful kick-butt band called Desert Wind that played this North African, just wonderful, rhythmic, beautiful music that you just couldn't sit still to. They attracted some amazing musicians to their group and shared the music of the Holy Land. And they've been basically all over the world to do this. So how lucky are we to have Desert Wind join us for special music today. Please welcome Alan and Andelin Bachman and Raj Haruz. Come on down.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you, Rick.
And Ricardo on drums. And I'm wearing a shirt, I'm with the witch. That's my wife. And it's, when I give my talk, you realize that we'll have new reverence for that word, because it is Halloween. So we're going to be talking today and playing music about sacred feminine spirituality, I guess we could call that. And so here's a song called Moon Goddess. And I don't know how this song developed, but I seem to remember I was like on the phone talking to somebody and my left hand was doing something on a keyboard and this melody came out, so that started it. Okay. So that's how things work. We just get ourselves out of the way sometimes and we let that divine energy flow through us that's connected to all of us. So this is going to start with really one of the oldest known melodies we know from the Middle East, called the Belody. Doom, doom, tek, doom, tek.
Goddess of moonlight, dancer of our night, giver of our life, blessed be. Goddess of moonlight, dancer of our night, giver of our life, blessed be. Grand Mother of one and all, your wisdom universal. Grandmother of one and all, your wisdom universal. Goddess of moonlight, dancer of our night, giver of our life, blessed be. Goddess of moonlight, dancer of our night, giver of our life, blessed be. Grandmother of one and all, your wisdom universal. Grandmother of one and all, your wisdom universal.
Thank you, thank you. We're going to be shifting some paradigms today, including about Halloween. So stay tuned. Thank you very much for being here.
Rabbi Alan Bachman is a longtime friend of the Center for Spiritual Living here in Salt Lake City. When he first moved to Utah in 1985, he sought out Science of Mind and found the Salt Lake Center for Spiritual Living, which of course was then called Salt Lake Church of Religious Science. Rabbi Allen's rabbinical journey began 25 years ago when he was called as a musician to perform for a Jewish renewal community called Spirit of the Desert. In addition to music and spirituality, Rabbi Allen has expressed his passion for making the world a better place through his study and practice of law. He is married to his soulmate, Andalyn. It's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that with us today. And between the two of them, they have 3 children and 9 grandchildren. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Rabbi Alan Bachman.
Thank you very much. What a great place. What a great place. How lucky we are to be here, to be alive in such a great place. Let's see if they have a mask holder down here. They do. Okay. Today is Halloween. Let's not forget about that. So I was thinking, what should we talk about on Halloween? In the tradition, in the Jewish tradition, and really the Science of Mind tradition, where we have this belief in a divine creator, sometimes we have to listen, and the divine creator that we're all connected to might have a voice that says, do this or do that sometimes. And in this case, I think my calling was to say, well, it's Halloween, let's talk about witches. And let's set some of the records straight, and let's tie it to Science of Mind, because Science of Mind principles can be used really to help heal this world. And this is, in Judaism, we call this a tikkun, a fixing. We have a fixing to do, frankly, with what's been many centuries known as the gender of women. And we have a fixing to do with what we consider elderly women, witches, crones, people with wrinkles, people with gray hair. You may notice, if any of you watch television, who hasn't watched television, you see a number of commercials where, men generally, what happens when they get older, they get distinguished looking. If they have gray hair, if they have wrinkles, they can, especially decades ago, still get parts on television or in movies and be distinguished. But women, generally, they had to not show signs of wrinkles or gray hair. Did this just come out of nowhere? No. There's actually some historical reasons why this harmful paradigm developed, but it wasn't always the case. In fact, for most of history that we know of archaeologically, this was not the paradigm. For most of history, thousands and thousands of years, women who had gray hair, who had wrinkles, who looked postmenopausal, that's a word we'll use here because menopause is going to be important in this, was very sacred and holy. So we're going to use the principles of Science of Mind to correct this, because it wasn't always this way. And we do need to completely eliminate this double standard. So when they said the topic is, well, I will meet you there, where are we meeting? We need to meet in a place where all is beautiful. People that are older, people that are younger, animals, the earth. We see the beauty in everything. That's really the highest state. And we are getting there, and we will get there. So, it's because I do have the attorney's side, I happen to have an exculpatory clause. Some of the things I'll talk about, you could dispute. I'm just giving one viewpoint, and hopefully it generates thought and thinking and maybe some new ways of thinking. So I'm going to start at the very beginning. Originally was going to show slides for it, but I ended up with so many edits on the slides, decided not to. But I'm going to take you way back to the beginning of the earth, when we had what Darwin called like the Amniotic Sea. Everything in this was in this sea. All life was started in the sea. And it was considered female, the sea. And what happened in the sea? What drove the sea? What kind of force drove the sea? It was the moon, the lunar tides. And according to Darwin believed, and there's good reason to think this, that this whole idea of this cycle, the menstrual cycle even, following the moon, could have begun in this Amniotic Sea, because we know even today how the tides are affected by the moon. A lot of what I'm going to be talking about is in a book called The Great Cosmic Mother, as well as a book called The Crone by Barbara Walker. And so, obviously, life did leave this Amniotic Sea, and at least some of it did, and went to shore. And then another early concept that relates to Halloween and will relate it to witches and crones is the thing about the dark, the yin, the feminine. All around the earth, people for thousands of years were building caves, places of resurrections, like wombs all around the earth. What happens in the womb? In the womb, that's where life is. And it's dark in there. And often, it's cited in one book I was reading, the blackest part of the caves is where the shaman's dance would take place. Descent into the dark earth may have been believed necessary for future rebirth. That's the dark, that's the yin, that's the womb. It's also, when we think of the womb, it's a place of safety, a place of security. It's a tabernacle, so to speak, a sacred place. So on this journey that I'm going to take you on about crones and witches and why, many started seeing them in a bad light, there was a reason for that, a very logical reason that I'm going to go through here. But let's talk about how women developed certain skills thousands of years ago. Early women, they really knew about plants. As it says in Cosmic Mother, when we look at our gathering ancestors, 75 to 80% of the group's subsistence, what they lived off of, comes from the women's food gathering activities, 75 to 80%. This despite the known fact that the oldest tools used by contemporary hunters and gatherers and the oldest, most primal tools ever found in ancient sites are women's digging sticks. And there's even early evidence that women were the first users and domesticators of fire. They were first potters, first weavers, first textile dyers, hide tanners, and first to gather and study medicinal plants, i.e. the first doctors. That's going to be very important in my talk. And the first time measurements ever made, the first formal sticks that we know of, marked the times of the moon so you'd know when you were going to give birth. And of course, as I mentioned, with the Amniotic Sea being influenced by the moon, so were powers linked to women. The one obvious women power that you could see being an ancient person on Earth and an observer, and of course it was women who gave birth. I mean, very few people knew men that gave birth, right? So that was a very important thing to observe, People observe that. Women give birth. Why don't men give birth? Wow, that's a great thing. So if you're in a society where birth is important, or even being reborn, this power that women had to give birth was very important. But what's more important related to that, I think, is that women were affected by the moon. As we know from studies today, even in office buildings, if women are grouped together, there's been studies to show that, before menopause, women would bleed and heal together. Wait a minute, I said a special word there, heal. Because it wasn't just that women had bleeding, that would correspond with the moon. But more importantly than that, they healed every month. They healed every month. Why would that be important? Because if you're in a society that believed in the oneness of everything, people, animals, and the earth, and you were going to take the life of an animal, in order to eat it, you had to account for it. You were taking something that had a piece of divinity in it and taking its life. But if you created a wound in the animal so the animal would bleed and then heal, then it was believed metaphysically or spiritually that this animal, the spirit, would live on. And so this power of women, not only to give birth, but the power they had to bleed and heal, was very important to ancient peoples. But something else magically happened. The women did not bleed when they were pregnant. This sacred blood was used in this ancient thought to help nurture the child. So, to help give birth to a new life, And, of course, at one time in the woman's life, they would have menopause, and the sacred blood would stay within. And this became the woman who rise to the highest level, the crone, the woman after menopause, the holiest, because they withheld the sacred blood, and they were the women of wisdom. And they had all this knowledge passed down generation after generation about herbs and medicine, and they were healers. And this was really a great thing for a very long period of time. But then this shifted. Medical schools started to develop. And there was some edicts, especially in Europe, that women who practiced medicine without a license were witches. And they had to be put to death. Conveniently with that was the concept that if you were such a heretic, that the property for 3 generations would go to that institution who made the decree. Wow, how convenient. So you can see in this shift, all these women that were considered very holy and reached this postmenopausal state were all of a sudden now a threat. They were a threat on 2 levels. One is because they had all this healing power that was competing with the universities, of which they were not allowed to attend. So any woman who was using these skills for many thousands and thousands of years, in many cases was declared a witch. So I guess we should dedicate the talk and honor those women who were declared that, and lost, many of them lost their lives, by the way. This is very sad. But there was another characteristic going back into what we could call goddess spirituality, for lack of a better term. 3 paradigms, and you can see how these relate. The virgin paradigm. We could see 2 of these, at least 2 of these in Christianity, virgin and mother, that I go through. So I think I'll mention the 3, virgin, mother, and crone. The virgin is a archetype. And what's an archetype? Very important for science of mind, really. A pattern of thought, a way of thinking. So the virgin would be the idea of being completely independent. It has nothing to do with some modern uses of that word virgin. But virgin meant you were just completely independent. You weren't in a relationship with anything. The mother phase was dependent. Think of the goddess like Hera, very dependent on what's going around and cannot detach from it. Okay, and you don't want to be stuck in that phase. That's a very codependent phase. Then the highest phase is the crone. The crone was interdependent, this archetype, capable of being in relationship without losing identity. So you can see the whole idea of being in a relationship without losing identity could be a threat to those who want to usurp power. So we don't want people to be interdependent and have direct links to God. You know, we want them to have to go through our particular organization. And, of course, the other great thing related to this, at this time, we don't think about it today, is not only were these crones midwives of birth, they were also midwives of death. They helped people pass on into the next world. And that was a threat to institutions. Why would that be a threat? Well, there was one institution at least that was selling indulgences. So you buy this piece of paper, started I believe in the Middle Ages, and you're guaranteed to go to heaven. Well, why would I spend all this money on this piece of paper if I'm not afraid of dying? If I have these elderly women, these wise women who can help me pass on to the next world, maybe I'm not going to buy an indulgence. So now they're competing with that institution. And we can see this creating a real problem at the time for those who want to usurp power. So that was another reason to go after the crones and the witches that we think about during Halloween. Because the crones help prepare people for death. And this is interesting too, because we see the witch and the broom on Halloween. Guess what? Like in Buddhism, they had a term called dakinas for these women. They were skywalkers. And even in Judaism, considered by many a patriarchal faith, we have the concept of Shekhinah, the divine feminine. And what does it say in Midrash? It sort of fills in the gaps of the Jewish Torah, we call our Holy Torah, is that the Shekhinah, the feminine divine, would have to kiss some of the Jewish people's holiest people, including Moses and Miriam, so they could pass on into the next world. Wow. Well, that's a real threat if you want to sell indulgences, to have these midwives of death helping people pass on. And of course, it was a threat to those with medical institutions to have these women, well, all these knowledges for herbs for thousands of years, competing with the medical community that graduated from universities. So, tied in with this, not only was the crone and the witch seen as evil, but things associated with that postmenopausal development where they withheld that sacred blood, which means a woman who had gray hair, a woman who had wrinkles, a woman who looked postmenopausal. This wasn't all of history. This is actually recent history. And so we need to turn that around. And so we can use Halloween to help turn this around as we look at this. So as we see witches this Halloween, let's remember this repair needed for the attitude for the crones and see the beauty in looking as an elder, not just for men, but for women as well. The archetype of the woman who can fly to the occasion of helping a person with their most critical situation, passing on, and learn to be interdependent like the crone, capable of being in a relationship and being independent at the same time. The witch is only scary to those who want to usurp power. So hopefully we'll now see witches, and we'll see elderly people in a different light. You know, in Judaism we learn, and in the Torah we learn, in the scriptures, that God and Moses, you know, they met panem el panem, face to face, and that every one of us has this face of the divine, of any age, any gender, any faith tradition. All of us with the face, have the face of the divine. And at one time, when before COVID, you know, if I was in an airport, you know, now with considering the environment, maybe I should be at a train station, but sit down there and you see people, and don't do it where you would embarrass anybody, but look at people at a distance. Look how beautiful they are. Send blessings their way. And think in your mind. Let's program our minds to see the beauty in each face. Whether it has wrinkles, whether it doesn't have wrinkles, whether it has gray hair, whether it does not have gray hair, whatever color hair, whatever, to see the divinity and to see the beauty in each person. That's such a high state. And when we get there, you know we're truly in that messianic era. So we're going to use the science of mind principles and a treatment to get there, because we are going to make this happen, and we're going to make this happen now, because we're going to recognize the oneness of this universe, just like they did in ancient times for thousands of years, that there's this one energy, there's this one force, and it permeates everything. It's everywhere. And we're going to be unified with this one force. We're going to connect up with it, because with that power of the one creator created the entire universe, we never need any more power than that to do what we need to do. That we're going to realize right now that our elderly and all people, whether they have wrinkles, gray hair, or do not, people that are aging, that they're all beautiful. And we're going to recognize this new paradigm right now, the holiness, the sacredness, and the beauty of each individual, regardless of age, regardless of gender, regardless of race, regardless of religion, regardless of their abilities or disabilities. That new paradigm exists right now. And we are grateful. We are thankful that we can connect up with this force, that we can have this beautiful vision for all of us and create this right now. And it is. I trust that this is. This is the world. And so I say, and so it is. Thank you.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I give. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
So now is our time of conscious giving, and I invite our ushers to step forward, if you would. That means, like everything else we do here, it's a choice. We choose to give, and we choose to give from an attitude of abundance, knowing the prosperity of the universe is already ours. So I invite you to place your gift over your heart, or if you give electronically or by automatic deposit, bring your gift to mind and feel the truth of what we say as we speak our giving affirmation. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Filled with gratitude, I let this be, and so it is. Thank you.
All that I need comes to me. All that I need comes to me. The light of love and grace shines upon my face. All that I need comes to me. I've been set free, I'm released. I've been set free, I'm released. The burden of my past has gone away at last. I've been set free, I'm released. All that I need comes to me. All that I need comes to me. The light of love and grace shines upon my face. All that I need comes to me. All that I need comes to
Let's hear some more from Desert Wind.
You know, the beautiful thing about living in Utah, in this area, is the Stone Age really ended on the Earth last around here. So you can see a lot of Stone Age type objects and places and kivas and wombs. really close to us. And so we're really grateful for our indigenous people who live amongst us. We got a lot to learn from them. And one of the things we have to learn from them is about this legend that's a Navajo and Hopi legend about the spider woman. And you can see how this ties in the science of mind, because the spider woman weaves this web that connects all of us.
Test. There is a woman who weaves the night sky. See what she spins, how her fingers fly. She is within us, beginning to end. Our grandmother, our sister, our friend. She is the needle and we are the thread. She is the weaver and we are the web. She is the flow and we are the ebb. She is the weaver and we are the web. She changes everything she touches, and everything she touches changes. She changes everything she touches, and everything she touches changes. Weave on, Spider Woman. Weave on, Spider Woman. There is a woman who weaves the night sky. See what she spins, how her fingers fly. She is within us, beginning to end. Our grandmother, our sister, our friend. She is the needle and we are the thread. She is the weaver and we are the web. She is the flow and we are the ebb. She is the weaver and we are the web.
Everything she touches,
And everything she touches changes. She changes everything she touches. And everything
Everybody
she
say
touches
this together.
changes. Weave on, Spider Woman. Weave on, Spider Woman. And everything she touches, she changes. She changes everything she touches. And everything she touches, well, I'll sing it. She changes everything she touches. And everything she touches, she again. She changes everything she touches. And everything she touches, she changes. Spider Woman.
Thank Thank you very much. You're wonderful. Thank you for being here. Being here is half the battle, you know.
So please join us for a party. We're gonna have some good food and lots of laughs and some awards given out and some fun games, and mostly just being together in community. It's so great. So look forward with me to November as we let this beautiful month of October just let it go, let it pass, and celebrate the Halloween. It's awesome. Let's sing together our closing song. I'm gonna rock out for the last time this month. Let's work together. Let's work together. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.